Hey, what's up, everybody? 28th of July, we got some day baseball. I appreciate you doing so much of the video relating, and we are going to run through the day slate, 4 games, real quick.
Yeah, I'm psyched to get on with you, man. You know how pumped I must be to be on here early, not making you wait at all. So, yeah, I'm excited to vid with you. Definitely, it's one of those things like it makes you appreciate what you have when it's not there. Like, I appreciate videoing with you so much, and I always realized it, but it's making me appreciate it even more.
Awesome. Well, it is fun to actually be on here and be able to knock these out early. So let's talk about this day slate. And not the greatest pitching options in the world. I guess if it's me, I'd probably go Kim Snell, but it's not like a love situation where I feel like these guys are the best options. Snell's been really good at home and terrible on the road. So we know he's talented. It's been an odd season. And then Kim is, I guess for me, just the guy that's left because I don't really like any of the SP2s.
Yeah, I'm with that. I don't really like anyone on the slate, so problem. I think Kim stands out at 8K. Cleveland sucks. It's just a fact. I think both pitchers in the Cleveland game are in play. I was on Plesac last game, and he got absolutely screwed by Arozarena hit a single up the middle with two guys on. It got booted and then thrown away. They called 2 errors on the play, but all of the runs were earned because of like a couple walks after that. So that destroyed his game log. He didn't have the Ks, so it's not like I feel great about him, but we know he's got upside at 6,800. And on this slate, I'm willing to take a shot on him. But no, it's not a love type situation at all. But I struggle to go to Snell like at all, even at home right now. I know he's been so much better at home. I don't know. Was he good last time out?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good at Miami. Okay, I remember that.
So Snell's my SP1, but we'll just reiterate, it's not a love situation. If you feel differently about Snell than I do, oh my God, I completely understand. And this is a guy I have on one of my year-long leagues, and it's gotten to the point where like I don't even play him in some of his starts if it's on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I know he had a good start last time out. I was kind of looking at the numbers. About 20% of his starts on the road will be very good like that, and the other 80% will not be. So he had a good one last time out. As you said, though, at home, he's so much better.
The other guy that's super cheap that I was looking at now, he came back down to earth, like to be expected, was Willie Peralta, but he is super cheap. And again, he gave up 5 hits and 3 walks last time out, which isn't good, but was mostly a victim of giving up home runs. And keep the ball in the ballpark today, 6,200. I don't think it's insane. I don't think he would be my guy, but I can understand if you really like some higher price hitters how you could end up here. I could also say understand stacking against them.
Yeah, same. I know ownership. I don't think ownership or anything's out yet, man. Like I'm more on the Peralta side than the Twin side. I imagine the Twins are chalky, and I want no part of that. So I'm with you.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's talk about offense then. As far as St. Louis against Cleveland, so I think we both made cases for the pitchers in this game. It sounds like Kim's one of your definite SPs today, and Plesac's another guy that you're looking at. I'm not really interested in Cleveland bats at all. Not that they couldn't get to Kim like he's some sort of elite pitcher. It's just not where I would end up. I can understand a couple St. Louis bats, but probably not what I'm trying to get to either.
Yeah, I could understand the St. Louis side. They're actually decently hot right now. Bader's
Cheap.
cheap. Bader's been really, really good. He's obviously very cheap. Don't think you need that price point, but again, he's clearly got upside at this price. He runs a little bit. He's got big power. They've been a lot better against righties this year, so it's just worth noting. I probably don't land on St. Louis either, but I can make the case for Plesac and the Cardinals, I guess.
Yeah, and even if you don't play the Cardinals, a Bader one-off at 2,400 for a guy with 3 home runs in 4 games, as you mentioned, he runs. It's a pretty logical play right there.
Yeah, he's red hot, so for sure.
Yeah, you could always talk me into a hot hitter with speed and power who's only 2,400. That's an easy sell right there.
No doubt.
Anybody else from St. Louis sticking out?
Not really, no.
Okay. Next up, Detroit, Minnesota. Not a lot of slates, I'll say this, but I feel like the Detroit offense is one of the more logical ones on this slate. I know you have never been a J Happ fan, and I think I said this a couple slates ago. he has given you no reasons to be a fan of his this year. He's been bad, giving up a ton of power. Detroit just saw him and lit him up. I would say that if I had to stack one offense, it'd probably be Detroit.
Okay, I don't know if I feel exactly the same as that, but I definitely like Detroit over Hap because I never like Hap.
No.
Detroit's been good. Even last night, a game they won, I think they were trailing 5-1. Yeah, I'm on the Detroit side over Hap for sure. I'd like to see where ownership's coming before I, make a decision. I want to go all, balls to the wall on the Tigers.
I'm thinking Detroit will get some love. I mean, Hap has been atrocious, right? Like, just bad. I mean, just look through his last 10 games and realize, like, this guy has allowed 3 earned runs or more in 8 of them. And, like, the 2 games where he, it's like he threw shutouts, he still allowed 2 earned runs. He just gets hit every single game.
Yeah, he gets hit and hit hard. I think that both offenses in this game probably get a lot of love. Early game, you're going to have both the offenses out. Like, I think, especially because, like, compared to the Cleveland-St. Louis game, people are going to go to that game.
I agree. When I popped open the slate last night to look it over, when I knew we were going to have time to meet this morning, my eyes looked at this game like instantly and said, this is probably where people would go.
For sure.
As far as the Detroit side of things, Haas is expensive, but if I can get to him, I want it. Scope, expensive, or expensive-ish. I mean, you got cheaper pieces, Castro. There's a whole bunch of guys on this, Grossman, Akil Baddoo. Like, you could stack the whole team without even trying.
Easily.
It wouldn't even be an effort. All right, Houston against Seattle. You know what? I just want to say kudos to the Seattle Mariners for actually being a pretty good baseball team without a lot of talent. You know what I mean? Like, you just look at their roster, they should not be this good.
They're in the race.
Right?
They won on Monday night after trailing.
Huge comeback.
Yeah, I'll say this. Also, really, really rare. I love shit like this. Before this game, they made a trade. These two teams.
Yep.
The Astros. Did you see that? They traded Toro and someone for 2 relievers from the Mariners, and then Toro hit a homer for the Mariners late last night.
I did not see the Toro home run. I saw the trade, and interesting. Okay, well, how about offense or pitching in this game, though?
It's just such an anomaly for that to happen. Like, you know what I mean? Man, it's hard not to at least have some interest in the Houston side with the way they look right now. I'm a Kikuchi fan. I know he had been coming off 2 mediocre starts. Okay, came back, was really good last time out. I mean, quite honestly, this is another one I could see using Kikuchi on this slate. I know Houston doesn't strike out, but just given our other options. And then, like I just said, Houston's been good, so I see the case for a couple of their bats. Correa's, he was slumping for like a month, and not that he's been great lately, but he had a nice game Monday night, another hit last night. I think he's a nice piece. I don't know what I want to do this game, though. I'm kind of torn here. What's your take?
I think I would be more likely to hand up on the Astros than Kikuchi, simply for the fact that of all the teams playing today, San Diego and Houston are the best offenses by, a pretty decent margin, right?
No doubt, by a good margin. And I will say, I Tucker crushes lefties, and Alvarez does too. Maybe those guys come a little bit under-owned.
They probably will. Gurriel's a guy who never seems to get the love that he deserves. Coming off a walk and 2 hits last night could be a nice jumping off point for him.
Yeah, I love that call.
Very good against lefties. Altuve is another guy. Quietly having a big-time power year with 23 home runs. Obviously, he's always hit lefties very, very effectively. Super affordable.
Interesting to see who comes in higher owned, like Altuve or Scope.
It's a good question. I'm sure you'll check that out and let people know on the write-up, and I get that one. Again, I understand Seattle offense, too, against Jake Odorizzi. And I don't really want to pitch Odorizzi, so I feel like this is one where I just kind of abstain from it and don't really go with either side.
I get that.
In the last game, San Diego against Oakland, Blake Snell against Sean Manaea. I mean, Manaea is another one, kind of very similar to me, kind of like Kikuchi. I mean, he is. I can see why you would like Manaea if it wasn't against San Diego, and he could just be good today. It's definitely possible, right?
He's had good starts against good teams. I mean, man, as far as who the best actual pitcher on this slate is, I think it's Manaea.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think it's close because I don't think he's like an ace, but I do think he's the best actual pitcher on the slate.
Oh, for sure.
He's been really good this year.
And also, like, he's striking more guys out this year.
Yes. I know you've always been a fan of his stuff.
I like watching him because he's a pitcher, right? Like he doesn't have dominant power stuff. He's a guy who does it with movement and location and things like that. And that's always a little bit more impressive. It's why, like, you could make an argument, like, who's a better pitcher, Greg Maddux or Randy Johnson, as far as, like, who's going to do a better job of shutting down the opponent. But, like, it's so much easier to give credit to Greg Maddux because he does it at, like, a foot shorter with a lot less velocity. He does it just by, pitching.
Yeah, the way I look at that, and I know we've talked about this, I view, like, Maddux is the better pitcher, Johnson has a better arm, like that's how I say it personally. But it's semantics, right?
Yep, and I probably wouldn't use Manaea today, but I cannot fault anybody for going here because I agree he's the best pitcher on the slate. Now, San Diego's good, right? And that's the hard part here. They take a lot of pitches. A guy like him who wants you to swing outside of the zone, if they do a good job taking his pitches, this is not a great spot for him.
No, the only thing I'll say is, like, the guys we're comparing him to, like, yeah, Kim's in a lot better spot, but, like, he doesn't have tons of upside. I mean, he's shown it more this year, but you're not worried about any of the guys in the early games or anyone on the slate going for like 30 plus, in my opinion. So I get it. Like, Manaea is more expensive, but I don't know if the price really matters. So just because it's a small slate, I think that he's in play.
Definitely. Flip side of that, I don't. You think San Diego probably comes in low owned for their standards today, right?
I do, and that's intriguing.
Right, like let's just say like they make Manaea work, take a lot of pitches, make him work. They get out of. He goes 5 innings, gives up 2 runs, and Snell pitches well, so they're up 2-0. Now you get one of Oakland's weaker bullpen guys. They get like a 4-run 6th inning. And now you get the rest of the game with their weaker bullpen guys. And next thing you know, a low owned by their standards San Diego team puts up 10 runs, and none of the other offenses are great.
Yeah, I get that for sure. I mean, they got a ton of power against lefties. Manaea has been really good this year, but I remember a start like a month or 2 ago where he got absolutely destroyed in Boston. Similar type lineup, tons of power against lefties. Machado was homered in 2 straight games also now. Adding Adam Frazier to their lineup, who's having a good year. This lineup's just nasty.
Right? Like, what do you think Tatis ownership is today? Like, it's, you won't get him in like 5%, like ever. But for a 4-game slate, don't you think it's kind of low by his lofty standards?
I'm not sure on that one. That's a good one. Like, I don't think San Diego's stack will be high owned at all, but I won't be surprised if Tatis is like a quarter owned or 30% owned, just because it's Tatis on a small slate.
Oh, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think he'll be, 25%, but not like there's a lot of 4-game slates where he's 60.
Yeah, sure. He probably is not that high on this slate, although I don't know if we have great shortstops. That's the other thing. Like, who are people dying to use at shortstop?
No, that's definitely true. I think you might get some people pay down for some of the Detroit guys possibly,
Sure.
but other than that, shortstop is not strong.
Especially when you got those other really cheap Detroit guys all over. It's not going to be hard to fit him. And when you can just fit one guy, people want Tatis, and I get that.
Definitely, guys. So I think for me, to sum it up really quickly, I would go Snell, Kim, and then I would probably be 4 or 5 deep on Detroit. Fill in, we didn't even really touch on Minnesota, so just kind of going back there. Again, I made the case for Peralta, but I can certainly also make a case for, Max Kepler, or I believe Josh Donaldson's got homers a couple straight. Nope, never mind, just one last night.
He didn't last night, but he walked twice again. So he's got 5 walks over his past 3 games. Like, he's seeing the ball well. I will say this, though, and I never, people like talk about this a lot, like the trade deadline stuff. And I was hearing it mentioned like 3 weeks ago, like, watch out for this guy to get traded. Like, I'm fine taking a risk on using a player any given day that they might get traded. That said, we're now only 2 days before the deadline. And with the Twins really selling guys off, we've seen them deal Nelson Cruz, a couple pitchers. I expect Donaldson to get dealt. So I am thinking about that.
Yep. Astudillo is another one. You want to pay up to Manaea just because he's the best pitcher? Well, you get like an Astudillo probably in the lineup at like catcher at 2,200.
Yeah, you actually mentioned him a couple of days ago, I remember. So, yeah, for sure.
He's a long-lost cousin of Bartolo Colon.
Yes, he is. I mean, more like a long-lost brother. Another guy for Minnesota, Brent Rooker, is really cheap. He's been in their 2-hole. 3K. He's been good recently. So, I mean, it's really easy to build a lineup. This is why I think Tatis gets love, and I didn't really have an opinion before, but now looking at it a little more.
When it comes to a guy like Rooker, don't look at the 188 batting average. It comes in very few at bats. Look what he's done recently, right? 6 hits over his past, 4 games, couple of home runs in there and everything like that. He just doesn't have a lot of at bats this year, so the 188 means nothing.
If he goes like 3 for 4 today, he'll probably be hitting 320.
All right, guys. So good luck today, and we'll talk to you in a bit.
Thanks, guys.